Hi, welcome to Open Door Yoga. My name is Michelle, and this class is called Runner's Stretch. And while it is geared and designed for those of you who may have just finished a run, a jog, even a long walk, it is also appropriate for those of you who may just be looking for a gentle recovery yoga class that gives you a good stretch. So whoever you are, you're in the right place. We're going to get started today in a toe stretch. So if you're seated on the mat like me, roll on over onto your knees. And we are going to bring, you can keep your hands down on the mat to start. We're going to bring our knees to touch, our toe mounds to touch, and with our toes tucked, begin to walk your hands back, sending your hips and your weight over your heels. Make your way into this stretch slowly today. As you begin to walk all the way up, check in with your toes. Sometimes those pinky toes don't tuck on their own and they need a little bit of help. So feel free to help them out. As you arrive here and we begin to find this nice, tall, upright spine, if you're noticing that this is very, very uncomfortable in your feet, because that's a possibility, you're welcome to bring a little bit of weight out. And you could do that by walking your hands down your thighs or even back onto the mat. However, if you can stay with this nice upright spine with your weight over your heels, I do invite you to do so. Especially for those of us who like to run or do any type of physical activity where we're up on our feet. Our feet aren't necessarily something that we think about giving self-care, love, and attention to. So take some time. Begin to bring your awareness to your breath. You can keep your gaze open here or close it down if it helps to bring your full presence here to this class. As you bring your awareness to your breath, notice what that breath pattern is. We're not going to try to change anything today. Just allow that breath to be an anchor, to bring your attention inwards, to notice what's going on in your body. We'll just take a few more breaths here. Allow your shoulders to really relax down away from your ears. One more full breath in. Release that breath completely. And at the bottom of your exhale, we're going to slowly begin to come out of this stretch. So walk your hands down your thighs, back to hands and knees. Toes are still tucked. As you arrive here, you can slowly begin to bring your toes up until you're pressing into the very tippy toes. Full breath in. And then exhale, release the tops of your feet to the mat. You can stay right here, maybe just tapping the tops of your feet gently onto the mat. Or if you'd like a little bit of a counter stretch, we can do that today by walking our hands back, bringing that weight back over our heels, but this time the tops of our feet are kind of flush on the mat. You can stay here in this upright position, or maybe even bring your hands behind you, and you could consider lifting your knees, just to bring a nice stretch into the fronts of our ankles. You could even play with your balance here, maybe bringing your hands to heart center, or not. If you are back here, you can practice pulling those shoulders back to open up through your chest. Gaze can lift. One more full breath in. And exhale, release those knees down if you took this lift. And we're going to make our way to hands and knees. As you arrive in this nice tabletop spine, toes can stay untucked, or you could tuck them here. Wrists are under elbows, elbows under shoulders, knees are under our hip points. And on your next inhale, tilt your tailbone up And as your belly drops, pull your shoulders back to lift your heart space. Lasana cow pose. Exhale, tuck your tailbone, round through your spine. Press into the mat to really scoop your belly in. Drop your crown. Asana cat pose. Move with your breath. Inhales will take you into cow pose. Feel this widening between your collarbones. Exhales will take you into cat pose. Really scoop that belly button in and feel that sensation between your shoulder blades. As those of us who like to run, whether we run seriously or just occasionally, we're used to thinking about our breath. But a lot of times we allow our movement to dictate what our breath does. So practice, alternatively, allowing your breath to guide your movement. So we're going to come into one more cow, one more cat, and move with your inhale. At your natural inhale pace, move into cow. And at your natural exhale pace, move into cat. We'll come back to a nice tabletop spine. And from here, we're going to extend our right leg long. So toes are going to be down on the ground. We're just going to stretch into our calf muscle a little bit. So begin to rock forward and then rock backwards. So feel that stretch coming into your calf. And we're just going to rock here. So it won't be a sustained stretch. But we're still moving slowly with our breath. Take one more good stretch here to our calf muscle. Shift that weight back to center. Hold your weight in your core. Maybe even scoop your belly in to create a little bit of space. Send that right foot forward and through. We're going to come into a low lunge. So back knee can stay lowered onto the mat. Slowly send your hips forward and down. And as you feel stable, open up through your chest. So you can bring your hands up to fingertips. Or if that's not really comfortable in your body, you could bring your hands to a low support surface like yoga blocks or the seat of a sturdy chair. You can also bring your hands up here to your thigh. If you're up here a little bit higher, consider pressing gently into your thigh to open up through your chest a little bit more. You might even feel that sensation a little bit more intensely in your hip flexor. One more full breath in. Exhale. If you've taken this lift, fold back down. And then inhale, send your sitting bones up and back. You can rock onto your right heel. We're going to come into kind of a half splits posture here. And so instead of pointing those sitting bones or your tailbone down towards the ground, imagine you're trying to sit on the wall behind you. And if you're very tight in your hamstring, you may be up here. And that's okay. Nice tall spine. If you have a gentle bend in that front knee, that is just fine. Sometimes that helps us protect a really tight hamstring. One more full breath exchange here. And then as you're ready, begin to bend back into that knee or to come back into our low lunge for just a moment. From here, plant your hands onto the mat. We're going to keep our back leg as it is, but we're going to step our right foot back so that our toes are about in line with the front of our left knee. We're gonna sit back so that the right sole of our foot is planted on the mat. And then you can use your right thigh as a little bit of, almost like a table to support your chest. As you gently press your knee towards the ground, feeling the stretch through the back of your ankle and your Achilles. Now, if this is too much in your body, you can also bring your foot up to a block, or you could do this posture in standing. You could stand in front of the seat of a sturdy chair or a table. Bring your foot to rest on that support surface. And then we're just kind of doing the same thing, bending into that knee just to feel this stretch to that Achilles tendon area of our body. One more full breath in here. Full breath out. And let's make our way back to hands and knees. We're going to do that whole kind of warm-up circuit on the left side. So as you're ready, extend that left leg long. Again, the left toe mount is down on the ground. Begin to find that rocking sensation moving forwards and backwards. So sending the crown of your head forward and then pressing your heel back towards the back wall. Feeling that sensation a little bit more intensely in those calf muscles. Practice holding your weight here in your core so we're not dumping into our shoulders. We're using this as an opportunity to strengthen our core muscles, our postural muscles that help support our upright spine when we're running, walking, or even just hanging out during the day. We'll take one more nice stretch here and then scoop in that belly to create space so that you can step your left foot forward and through. Take any adjustments you need. Begin to come into this low lunge, sending those hips forward and down, and then finding whatever position is most comfortable in your hands that allows you to open up through your chest. So we want a nice, tall, upright spine here, trying to avoid any rounding. If it's uncomfortable to be upright, consider using a prop. So bring your hands to a support surface that allows you to press down while also lifting that heart space, your chest. Take another full breath exchange here. And then on your next exhale, fold forward. And inhale, begin to straighten through that left leg, rocking under that left heel. And finding this half splits position on the opposite side. So a lot of times for those of us, like me, who have tighter hamstrings, tighter low back area, you may find yourself turning towards the right, kind of bailing out of this position a little bit, this posture. If that's the case, that's okay. Acknowledge it. And then what is the word I'm trying to think of? Purposefully, imagine pulling your left thigh bone back into your hip socket. That'll help bring your hips into more of a neutral position, and you'll feel it come right back to that hamstring. Nice long neck. One more full breath in. Full breath out. And then let's make our way back to that low lunge. Again, for just a moment. Notice if it feels any different than it did the first time around. Maybe you can sink those hips down and forward a little bit more. Maybe you can open that heart space, lifting that chest a little bit higher. From here, bring those fingertips down onto the mat and then send your left foot back to meet your right knee. Bring the sole of your foot down. And from here, rest your chest onto that thigh. Take any adjustments that feel good in your body. You could even untuck those right toes. And press that knee very gently towards the floor, really feeling this stretch in that Achilles space. Use any variation of this posture that feels good in your body. You could take that standing option if it feels good. Relax to the back of the neck. Not holding any extra tension up here than we have to. Begin to make your way back to hands and knees. Tuck those toes. Begin to ground down a little bit more through the thumb side, index side fingers of your hands. And from here, begin to send your weight back over your heels. Roll your triceps to the midline. Imagine sending your heart forward like it's reaching towards this space between our hands. Pull your upper arm bones back into their shoulder sockets. And then from here, find that lift in your hips and those sitting bones. We're going to come into our first down dog. You can pedal out your feet if it feels nice. Use that core strength to send those hips up and back a little bit higher. Bring your awareness to your spine. The goal of this position is a nice long spine. So if our knees stay bent or if our heels are really lifted, no worries. Find stillness here for a couple breaths. On your next inhale, gaze towards the space between your hands. Send your feet there and exhale, forward fold. Generous knee bend. You could even create that same table with your thighs for your chest. Allow this posture to feel like a release in your low back. And take the opportunity to also release any tension in your neck and in your shoulders. Fingertips are just light on the mat. Inhale, rise to half lift. Send your thighs back. Slight lift in your sitting bones. Crown reaches forwards. Shoulder blades slide down your back body, almost like they're reaching down towards your hips. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise to half lift. Exhale, slight bend in the knees. And on your next inhale, with a tall spine, press into your feet. Rise all the way up. Sweep your arms up and overhead. Extended mountain. Exhale, release your arms down by your sides. Bring those hands behind you, palms to touch. Interlock your fingers. Begin to press your knuckles down towards the ground. You feel a little bit of opening through your chest. Go with it. Roll those shoulders back. Feel a nice stretch through your upper shoulders, maybe even into your neck. Full breath in here. And exhale, we're going to slowly begin to bring our gaze past our left shoulder. We'll stay here for a breath or two. If it feels good in your body, you could play with lifting your chin slightly, gently, or even bringing it down towards your shoulder. Just find what feels best for you today. On your next inhale, unwind, bring it back to center. And exhale, send your gaze past your right shoulder. And again, play with lifting your chin or lowering it slightly. Notice how that changes the sensation in that left neck, upper shoulder area. And inhale, unwind. Exhale, release those hands. Inhale, sweep your arms up and overhead. Extended mountain. Press energetically those palms together like you're holding something above your head. And then on your next exhale, begin to bend to the right. You can bring your right index finger and thumb to grab your left wrist. Take a couple full breath exchanges here. If it feels good, you can cross your left ankle over your right. But if you're feeling unsure in your balance, if your muscles are a little bit fatigued today, you can also just keep that nice stable stance that you had. One more full breath in. Full breath out. Inhale, rise on up. Uncross those legs. And exhale, take it to the left. Find the option that feels best in your arms and your legs. And on your inhales, allow you to feel your right rib cage expand. Notice that sensation through your right side body. One more full breath exchange. And inhale, rise on up. Exhale, release those hands down by your side. If it feels good, take a couple shoulder rolls here. You could do both of your shoulders at the same time. Maybe some single shoulder rolls back. Just to really begin to bring those shoulders down away from your ears. Shoulder blades down and in on your back body. From here, we're going to transition into a little bit of balancing work in the form of stretching. And so balancing on your single leg is really great to practice, whether you're somebody who likes to run or walk, or even just somebody who's looking for a little bit more stability in their body. It's great for fall prevention as well. Begin to shift your weight into your right foot. And as you feel stable, grounded down through the big toe mound, pinky toe mound, edges of your right foot, through the center of your heel, bend into your left knee. Reach back with your left hand or your right to grab onto the bottom of your left foot or your left ankle. Coming into quadricep stretch here. If you're not feeling a lot of sensation in your quadricep, press your left hip forward. Now, if you're feeling a lot of sensation and it's hard for you to reach your ankle, grab a prop. So you could use a belt, a yoga strap, a scarf, even a light kitchen or bathroom hand towel, just to give your leg or your arm a little bit of extra length. One more full breath exchange here. We're going to release our foot, but keeping our balance. Slowly bring our knee up towards our chest and hug your knee to your chest. You may begin to feel that your right leg, especially down towards your ankle, is starting to fatigue a little bit, and that's okay. Maybe bring some ankle rolls into that left ankle if it feels good. From here, release your right hand down. Begin to pull your left knee out to the side. So we're coming into a little bit of external rotation in our hips. You can stay here. You could even bring your hand to your heel, the inside edge of your left foot. You could even come into a triangle pose here. Bringing the sole of your foot either into the inner lining of your right thigh or your right calf, just avoiding that knee area. Press your thigh back, your outer thigh towards the back wall. Maybe take another moment to practice balance here by bringing your hands to heart center or sending them up and overhead. Wherever you are, we're just going to take one full breath exchange. And then release that left foot down onto the earth. Take a moment to find your center of balance. Notice any differences that you feel between the two sides of your body. Notice if you've lost that connection with your breath. Bring it back. And then we'll take it to the other side. Shift your weight into your left foot. Bend into that right knee. Find that quadricep stretch that feels best in your body. Use any props that you need. If you noticed that balance was challenging in your body, maybe on this side you position yourself closer to a wall, or maybe the back of a sturdy chair that you could hold on to. Weight is centered over our left arch, or it's centered between the right and left side of our body. But make sure that we're not reaching too far forward, too far backwards. On your next breath in, send that knee up and into your chest. Hug it there. Feel free to take any extra ankle rolls, or maybe even just flexing and extending, pointing through that right toe. Keep those shoulders relaxed away from your ears. And then from here, release that left arm down and find that external rotation posture of your choice. So maybe we're just holding our knee out here to the side, and that's what feels good in your body. Or maybe you'd like to take triangle pose. Not triangle pose, tree pose. What did I say the first time? But if you take tree pose, make sure that you can press that outer thigh back towards the back wall. If that's challenging in your body, then lower the sole of your foot down to the inside lining of your calf. Or maybe even kickstand it on the ground. Hands can be at heart center. Hands could even be up and overhead. If you really want to challenge your balance, you could even close down your gaze. One more full breath in. Exhale to release that breath completely. And then release your right foot down. Arms can come down by your sides. Come back to your breath. From this position, we want to bring our feet under our outer hips. So I can show you by turning a little bit here. So a lot of times we have our feet to keep our balance under our inner hip points. We're going to bring them out slightly. And then we're going to turn our toes out. You could turn them out to a 45-degree angle, or even just slightly here. And on your next exhale, forward fold. Generous knee bend. Just find this release through your low back. Inhale, keep this knee bend, rise to a tabletop spine. So fingertips can be on the ground, or maybe even here in your shins. And then with your knees bent and this nice tall spine, slowly begin to send those hips down into Malasana, or yogic squat. As you get settled, notice that our upper back body is pulled back. So we're not rounding here. We feel this nice opening through our chest. You could bring your hands to heart center. Maybe use your elbows to press into the inner linings of your thighs. Find a little bit of opening here. Our gaze is forward. This is too much in your body. Find the position that feels best for you. You can bring a support surface in front of you at any height so that you feel comfortable. We're just going to take one more full breath in. Release that breath completely. Bring your hands to the mat and slowly make your way into a comfortable seat. So comfortable, easy seat. We're crossed here at our shins. Begin to stack your shoulders over your hips, ears over your shoulders. Inhale, sweep your arms up and overhead. And exhale, we're going to fold to the left. So one more side body stretch here. And if it feels good, you could even bring your forearm down to the earth, feeling the sensation a little bit more into your low back. If you do choose to lower your forearm, just check in with your sitting bones. We want to ground evenly between our right and left sitting bones. So if you're rocking a lot here, then really maybe lift that elbow slightly to press into your palm. Inhale, rise on up. Exhale, twist to the right. So left hand can come to your right knee. Right hand comes to the earth behind. We'll take a few breaths and use our inhales to find length in our spine, create a little bit of space between our vertebrae. So on our exhales from our core, as we twist a little bit deeper, we have room to do so. One more full breath exchange here. On your next inhale, unwind. Exhale, find that comfortable seat with your weight balanced. Inhale, let's take it to the other side. Sweep those arms up and overhead. And exhale, fold to the left. Find that position that feels best in your body. So maybe we lower our forearm and you'll notice the intensity of this stretch change a little bit. Shoulders are still down away from our ears, shoulder blades flat on our back body. Neck is relaxed. On your next breath in, rise on up. And exhale, twist to the left. Shoulders are still stacked over our hips. And notice, or check in rather, with your upper back. If you're feeling like you're rounding a lot here, try to intentionally pull those shoulders back. And that might mean coming out of the stretch a little bit. And that's okay. One more full breath in. Release that breath completely. And then inhale, unwind. Come back to your comfortable seat. From this posture, take any resting position that feels good in your body. You could transition to Shavasana. You could stay here, close down your gaze, and maybe take a meditation if that's part of your yoga practice. Wherever you are headed next, thank you for sharing this practice with me. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Namaste.